Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sarah Labrat. In today's video, I kind of do a day in the life / a write-a-thon, but I am just gonna say very upfront, it did not go as planned. The original plan was to try and do a half marathon write-a-thon, as you can kind of see in my crossed off calendar, where I wanted to take 13 hours of a day and walk a mile at the beginning of every hour and then write and do productive tasks for the rest of that time in every hour. This idea was all based off of a YouTuber named Beau Miles and one of the videos that he made a few years ago, honestly, and I saw it for the first time last year, I think, called A Different Kind of Marathon. And I'm gonna link it down below and at the end of this video so that you guys can go watch that after this because it's really, really cool. However, being very upfront, this did not go how I expected it to go due to very little planning and deciding that I wanted to do this 2 days before I actually did it. It was still a really cool day and I'm gonna talk about my thoughts at the end of the video. But without further ado, here is my attempt at walking 13 miles and writing for 13 hours. Today is July 10th. Tomorrow, I'm doing my half marathon write-a-thon, which means that for 13.1 hours, I will be productive and I will also be walking 13.1 miles, aka a half marathon. You might be wondering why on earth I want to do this to myself. I saw a video, I want to say about a year ago, might have been longer, by a guy named Beau Miles. He ran a marathon in 24 hours. And what I mean by that is in the first hour, he ran 3 miles, and then every subsequent hour until he hit the 26.2 mileage that constitutes a marathon. I have watched this video multiple times now, and I'm always really inspired after watching it. And so I watched it again a few months ago, and then today to prepare for tomorrow when I'm going to be attempting essentially half of what he did in a day. Beau prioritizes fun and the potential of the day. He says that most of our days are very planned and we are not really allowed to follow tangents. And so he made every hour very task-oriented. He did a lot of manual work with his hands between running a mile every hour. He fixed things, he built a table, he built oars. Basically, he got a lot done in 24 hours and it was to just show himself and his viewers on YouTube the true potential of a day when you really are task-oriented and follow the tangential projects. He would use each mile out of his hour as a reset for his brain, taking on each hour as its own challenge and with its own set of goals, and just use every mile as a reset for his next group of tasks. However, I do not have a wood shop. I am not a carpenter or a builder of any kind. However, I am an extremely creative person, and so my interpretation of this is going to be walking a half marathon instead of running a marathon, because as of right now, I cannot run for very long at all, but I want to use some of the context that he talked about in the video to my advantage, and so therefore I'm going to be walking 13.1 miles in 13.1 hours. In between all of those miles, I will be writing, I will be doing tasks around my apartment, and really just settling in because I've been here for like a month and a half, and like I still have paintings that are not hung up. You can't see them right now, but they are on that wall. Or they are sitting on the floor to be hung up on that wall. So there's just a lot of things that I could be doing with my time. And it's going to be very difficult because tomorrow, July 11th, is going to be 102 degrees here in Texas, which is hot, which means I'm going to try and get an early start. I'm gonna say an early start. Ideally around like 9, because then that would take me to about midnight or 12:06 in the morning if I start right at 9. It is a Saturday, so I don't really want to get up any earlier than that and to start, just because weekends are now my time to like sleep in because I get up at about 6:30 to go to work. You might still be wondering why I want to do this to myself, and that's a good question. I have never done more than 5 miles in a day. Like at one point, I think in high school, I ran a 10K, aka I walked / ran a 10K. And in quarantine, when I was home with my family, I did go for a 4.5 mile walk with my mom, but I've never done a half marathon. And in this video by Beau Miles, he says, this is it, this is my life. And so that is how I'm taking it. This is it, this is my life. I've never done a half marathon before, so why not walk one tomorrow? There's no better time. There's a popular TikTok sound as well as this quote being mentioned in one of author Angela Ann's most recent videos about how you need to romanticize your life and live in the moment. I struggle with living in the moment, and I feel like after hearing Beau Miles talk about how every mile helped him reset his hour, it helped him stay current with what he was doing, this would just be a really great way to try and practice mindfulness and being in my body in the moment. And so without further ado, I will see you guys tomorrow morning when I start this thing, and we will talk about what I want to accomplish in the day. Normally I would choose to start my morning with writing, but it is currently 8:10. My math was really off today, and so I was thinking that if I started at 9, I wouldn't be done until 12. So I'm starting now at 8:10. I'm gonna go for a walk because it's gonna be 100 degrees today. At least it's not gonna be 102. So I'm starting my morning with a walk. I'm gonna try and do at least 2 miles, and then I'll come back and get some writing done. Mile 3 started with me trying to map out my path on my phone and running into a tree branch. It is now 9:20. I have the golf ball that I picked up on mile 2 as my souvenir. I'm gonna wash this and get me some water and some electrolytes because I'm gonna need a lot of them today because even after those 3 miles, I'm sweating. So I really didn't want to do too much talking this morning before I left for my first walk, just because I was really trying to beat the heat and I wanted to start at 8, but then it was 8:03, so then I waited until 8:10, which means that now my window of time is 8:10 to 9:16 tonight because I'm doing 13.1 hours. And so now it is 9:30. I made myself some electrolytes. I'm gonna sit down and make my plan for the day. I did originally want to use my Fitbit here, but it has been charging all night and is still behaving like it's not completely charged. And so I don't think I'm actually gonna use this today. I think I'm just gonna use the Pathfinder app on my phone, which is a really cool app, but my phone health app isn't super accurate. And so I think that one's better to use because I can actually map out where I went. My brother asked me yesterday how long this was going to take me, and I said about 6 hours, but I just did the math. If I consistently do 20-minute miles, it's going to take me 4 hours and 20 minutes. If I do 30-minute miles, it's going to take me 6 hours and 30 minutes. And so because this is going to be so taxing on my body, I assume it's probably going to take about 5.5 hours. Ideally between the two numbers. 4 hours and 20 minutes sounds like such a long time, but I've also already gotten an hour out of that done. So in the video, Beau Miles does not listen to music when he runs. It does not look like he has headphones in or anything. But on top of charging my Fitbit last night, I did charge my wireless Beats and my AirPods. And I was kind of getting worried that I was actually gonna get a tan around this thing. I also have a heart rate monitor that I was considering using, but it's been dead for years. And I went to go check it last night and I need a watch battery. I need 2 watch batteries, one for the chest strap and one for the watch. And that on top of the Fitbit seemed like a lot, so I decided not to do that, but then the Fitbit isn't cooperating this morning, so I guess we're just using my phone. Today when I'm not walking, I will be wearing this bracelet that says opportunity. I don't know if you can see that, but it says opportunity. I don't want to get a tan around this either, and I don't want to get it all sweaty, but the word opportunity is the word that I chose for my year, and if today is not a good example of that word, I don't know what is. Because the guy did not listen to things when he was out running during the video that he made, I did my first 3 miles today without any headphones. I'm going to do my best to not listen to anything until I have to be inside, on a treadmill, just because I'm not getting the same kind of nature stimulation when I'd be inside in the AC on a treadmill. But also being inside in the AC when it's going to be 100 degrees today is ideal. So I'm saving listening to things until later today. As much as I love Excel spreadsheets, my printer's not working, so I decided to do this on paper. I listed out all of my hours, which is weird because they all start at the 10-minute and end at the 10-minute, so 8:10 to 9:10, 9:10 to 10:10 kind of a thing. So from 8:10 to 9:16 tonight is going to be my 13.1 hours, and I'm going to make this a grid of how many miles I've done, how many words I've written, and what else I've accomplished. This is what my chart officially looks like. I went ahead and filled in my first hour, and I'm currently on my second hour. It's 9:50, and so I guess I should do something to put it in here. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. I think it's really cute. I added half marathon, write-a-thon at the bottom, and then mile, which I did not check off my first 3, but I'll do that right after this clip. So before the live stream that I'm hosting on my channel in about an hour with Brooke Writes, I think I'm gonna do my dishes and potentially go for another mile walk before I have to be back here to set that all up so that I can start writing for the day. This is a check-in for after finishing hour 2. It is now 10:30. I have a live stream starting in 30 minutes, but I think I'm gonna try and go do another mile before that starts. Ooh, should I take this as another souvenir? I didn't. I did another 1.1 miles and now it's time for me to hop on the stream. Hour 3 is now done, but I am on the sprint with Brooke Writes. So it's been 3 hours of my day so far and I'm only now just gonna be starting to write, but we're gonna be getting a lot of words in. This is gonna be like a 2 to 3 hour sprint, so lots of words. I got off word in 20, which means I actually wrote words this time instead of staring at my screen.
Well, progress is progress, right? Like.
So my audio cut out right before Brooke said progress is progress, and that is like one of my favorite things ever, and I can't believe I didn't hear her say that because then because my audio cut out. Writing was a little difficult at the beginning of the live stream, but now that we are done with hour 4, I did get 120 words and we are still going. So the first stream was having a lot of technical difficulties, as in it would mute me, but then when I would unmute, I couldn't hear Brooke. And so a mess, a whole mess. And then my computer decided to have like a straight up seizure. And so we stopped at like 120, and now we're on part 2 because that stream stopped working. So we started another one. It is now 1:30, we are still sprinting. I feel like I've calmed down a lot more since part 1 of this stream, just because of how many technical difficulties and stuff we had. Now I feel like I'm starting to relax and finally like get into the groove. Like my last sprint, I did 332 words, despite writing a scene that's kind of difficult and was not previously planned or outlined when I was trying to outline using Save the Cat, which is interesting because I'm actually at the catalyst moment right now, which is at 7,000 words because I just passed 7,000 words during that last sprint, and the catalyst is like scheduled to happen at the 7,000 word point, and it's going to be happening in this upcoming chapter. And so honestly, like surprised at how well the first like 10% of the story has lined up with the Save the Cat beat sheet that I filled out for it. Just interesting. But now we're gonna do another sprint. Now that hour 5 has been completed, I am a mile behind on walking, but that is okay. I'm gonna wait until the end of this sprint and then go for another walk. But I'm currently setting at 452 words total for the day, and I'm feeling quite good about all of this. Okay, so parts 1 and 2 of the live stream took a total of 4 hours. It was very fun. So thanks again to Brooke Writes for that. It was fun. It was a lot more fun after I like calmed down after part 1 ended and we started part 2, because then I relaxed and was actually able to get a little bit of writing done. However, it is now 3:10, which means that hour 7 just ended and I am on 4.2 miles and 654 words currently. At this point in time, I was hoping I would be further along, but I was not expecting the technical difficulties or the 4-hour live stream, which the first thing is bad, the second thing is good. So I'm gonna try and go for another walk, but I was just talking to Brooke after the stream ended, and honestly, considering the fact that I have 6 more hours to go and 9 more miles, I don't know if that's actually gonna happen, because walking 9 more miles is going to take me probably a little bit under 3 hours, and that's going to take up easily half of the 6 hours and 6 minutes I have remaining. And so I think I'm gonna go get a few more miles in. I checked the weather app though, and it says it currently feels like 115 degrees. Love living in Texas. But one of my friends actually texted me in Dallas and asked me if I wanted to go axe throwing tonight, and like, oh, it sounds really good. because I've never been axe throwing and really want to. And so we're unsure of what's happening to this plan right now, but I'm gonna go for another walk. We're gonna see what I get done and I'll update you guys. Okay, I'm fading kind of fast. It's 3:23. I've only had a smoothie today, but I know I need to go walk a few more miles. If I could get like halfway to 13.1, which would be like 6.5 miles, which is roughly like 2.3 more than I currently have under my belt. I would be really happy with that because that would be halfway to a half marathon, even though it's not what my original goal was, and I really wish I wasn't backing out. I'm not backing out yet, but again, the most I've ever done in a day has been like 5 miles or a 10K, and so I think right now we might just be shooting for over 5 miles. I don't know. Still up in the air, we'll see. Okay, this is so much more stupid than being outside. It's like right there, but I can't be out there because it's too hot. Mile 7. I've done 8 miles today. I'm gonna go shower and then I'll come back and talk to you guys. All right, check-in after hour 9 is done.
There you go.
That's right. So here is the final product. I did end up tapping out at hour 9, which is totally okay because the heat index was like 115 degrees. I picked a very bad day to do this, but I did go a total of 8 miles. I only got 654 words, but the writing was off a little bit. I was working my way through a really tough scene that was not outlined on my Save the Cat beat sheet that I made for this project, but I was just working my way through and trying to pants this part of the story, which I originally thought I wanted to do, but then when I started the scene, I realized that I did not know what was going on. However, those 654 words did get me to a point where now, as I move forward, I'm moving into scenes that were plotted and do have ideas, and I know kind of what I want to do for those. So it got me through the rough point and through the catalyst. So I would actually consider this to be a very productive day. Also, in the walking 8 miles, I had never walked more than 5 at a time. And the whim to do 13 was just like well, I haven't done this before, so like, why not? So I'm honestly very, very impressed that I was able to do 8 miles. I'm so happy with that. It did take me a few days to realize that that was a great and fantastic number because progress is progress and I didn't need to jump from 5 to 13.1. However, I do want to do this again in a much more structured day where I actually have food in my fridge and I have a plan and I have limitations and the weather is cooler so I can do all my walks outside. So I do want to do this again, but there were just a couple interesting things that I was not expecting. I was not expecting the live stream that I was on to go for 4 hours, which was absolutely amazing. So much fun. A lot of technical difficulties, but so much fun. I kind of forgot that I didn't really have food in my fridge, and it was 115 degrees out, and I was just very sick and very done of being on a treadmill. So I did my first 4.2 miles outside, and then I did the last 3.8 miles inside on a treadmill. And so instead of my goal of having this be like a mile at the beginning of every hour and then writing and doing productive tasks for the rest of the hour, it kind of turned out to be like walking 4 miles, doing a 4-hour chunk of time where I was on a live stream attempting to get writing done, and then another chunk of 4 miles. So not structured how I wanted it to be structured, but that was because I went into this with very little planning, which taught me that I need to plan when I do major things like this, because this should have required a lot of planning. However, did I plan? No. Despite the fact that I did not meet my original goal of doing a half marathon and doing 13 hours of writing kind of like intermixed with one another as my own rendition of Beau Miles' A Different Kind of Marathon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel. I will be trying this again, probably in like late fall, maybe this winter when the weather's colder outside and I can actually like be outside without feeling like I'm dying. If you are not already subscribed, make sure you do so that you don't miss another one of my videos. I want to know down below in the comments if you have ever tried to do a write-a-thon of any sort. I know they're very popular on AuthorTube and I have done one before where I did a 10-hour writing productivity sprint-a-thon thing when I was actually moving. in quarantine, which was an experiment for sure. But alright, that's it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sarah Labrat. I post videos twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays and occasionally do live streams. And so I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!